Hey there, and welcome to Rockwall, Texas Living, the web's biggest blog on the smallest county in Texas. I am your host, Evan Matteson.
And I'm your co-host, Richard Matteson.
Well, we are here today. We just got some really great stats that came to us, and so we want to share them with you.
Yeah, this is exciting news about what's going on in the nation. Now, we've talked before a little bit about the fact that there is no national real estate market, but there is a national market of homes. And what's happening with those homes and foreclosures and mortgages and all that kind of thing, this is what this is all about. And it is very important for us to get perspective here.
So we're going to tell you already, before we even start, this is something that you're going to want to forward on to your friends or have your friends come and view this blog, because this is going to give them the true perspective of what's going on. Everything that you're hearing about in the media is blown out of proportion, and this is the truth.
Right, the media is about blood and guts. We're about real statistics in real lives affecting you and us. All right, so let's start with the first one. 30% of the homes in America do not have a mortgage.
That's amazing.
That's incredible.
Because I would think, based upon what I've seen, that 90%.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean,
well, and it kind of shows the American dream is to own your own home, and people have been living that for so long that there's a lot of people that have finished those mortgage payments and they're living without that.
And they're not moving on to another house.
Right.
They're staying in.
Right. They're comfortable with that. Yeah.
That's great.
Okay.
Of the other 70%, 96.7% are not in foreclosure. I'm going to read that again. Of the other 70% of homes that have mortgages on them, 96.7% are not in foreclosure. That means all of this that we're hearing about, not to make light of those people that are going through those situations, but looking at it as a nation, there's only 3.3% of homes that are being affected.
Yeah, 3.3%. Can you understand that? Spread that over 50 different states.
Yeah.
3.3%. And then this next statistic brings a little bit more that into focus. California, Florida, Michigan, Arizona, and Nevada, which really those cities are Los Angeles, San Francisco, down in the south end of Florida, Michigan, around Detroit, Phoenix, and Las Vegas. Are those 5 states, and particularly those cities, large cities in those states, make up 50% of all foreclosures.
Now that's just 5 states he mentioned. There's another 45 states in our nation. So
1 point or whatever, 3.3, whatever the half of that is, 1.5 and 1.65% of that 3.3% of foreclosures in America is happening in 5 states, and particularly the large cities in 5 states. All right, that's a really good thing to keep in mind.
Now this is a great stat here. I'm just going to read it. During the years of the Great Depression, there was 25% unemployment. This was a time when traditionally only men were working. This would be equivalent to over a 45% unemployment rate as of today, and we're at 8.
Right, 45% because now we have men and women working, whereas 40% because we have men and women working, and they pull that over to make it equal. So back there in 1929, era of Great Depression, right before World War, or right after World War I and just before World War II, 25% unemployment. That's amazing, but that's mostly men that were unemployed.
Right. So what we're seeing is, when you compare what we're going through right now to the Great Depression, it's less than 25%. It's less than a quarter of what we saw in the Great Depression. It's difficult times, and we don't want to make light of that. But what we do want to show is the truth in the situation is it's not as bad as you're hearing out there in the media.
Right, and people are still buying houses and selling houses. People are still working their jobs.
I went to the mall the other day. I couldn't tell there was a recession.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone was out buying things. So if there's people out buying things, then it kind of makes me question some of the stuff that I'm hearing on the ABC, CNN,
all those ends. Right. But we have to keep in mind is what do they want to portray that the country's having a hard time. What do we want to portray? That there's a lot more to the statistics than the negative side. They can put it in real perspective. When there's 25% unemployment in those Depression years and there's only 8% now, and we have a workforce that's involving men and women, that's really a positive sign, not a negative sign. So keep that all in mind as you think through where you stand in light of all that's going on and how soon you want to buy a house.
Absolutely.
And give us some stats back. We want to know how you feel about this. And
yeah, give us some comments right below this vlog. You can leave us your comments. We want to know what you're thinking, what you're seeing out there. If you have questions, we want to get those answered for you. So we're a resource for you, and we want to make sure that that we can do that for you the best that we can.
Absolutely.
Wait, I say absolutely.
You say absolutely. Okay. Finish this off, Evan.
Learning a little bit more about Rockwall, Texas and the real estate market every day together.